The notification sound from my phone cut through the quiet of my garage workshop. I almost ignored it. At 65, I'd learned to let most things wait when I was elbow deep in a project. But something made me glance at the screen. It was a video link from my neighbor's daughter, Sarah. The message read, "Mr. Mitchell, I think you should see this." I wiped the grease off my hands and tapped the link. My daughter-in-law's face filled the screen, all perfectly lit and carefully composed. The title read, "5 Toxic People You Need to Cut From Your Life Right Now." I should have closed it, but I didn't. "Number 3, Vanessa said, her voice dripping with that careful authenticity she'd perfected, "is the person who makes you feel guilty for wanting better." For me, that was someone close to me who constantly judged my lifestyle choices, always talking about hard work and earning your way. But here's the truth. Beautiful souls, that kind of old-school mentality, it's actually just toxic masculinity dressed up as wisdom. She was recording this on the MacBook Pro I'd bought her last Christmas. In the background, I could see the corner of the Peloton bike I'd financed. Through the window behind her, the Tesla I was still making payments on sat in the driveway of the house whose mortgage I covered 60% of. I set the phone down. My hands were shaking, and it wasn't from the cold. That was 3 months ago. The moment I should have seen everything clearly. But the truth is, I'd been seeing it for years. I just kept hoping I was wrong. Let me back up. My wife Margaret died 3 years ago. Pancreatic cancer. 4 months from diagnosis to the end. When someone asks what the worst part was, they expect you to say watching her suffer or the loneliness after. But honestly, the worst part was realizing, in those final weeks, that she'd been the one keeping our family together, the one smoothing over the rough edges, the one making sure our son Jason didn't take advantage of my tendency to say yes. After she died, things got worse quickly. Or maybe they just got obvious. Jason and Vanessa had always lived a little beyond their means. Nice cars, nice house in Bellevue, nice everything. When Margaret was alive, she'd quietly mention it sometimes. "Bob, they need to learn to stand on their own feet." But I'd always thought she was being too hard on them. Jason had a decent job at the Lexus dealership. Vanessa had her wellness coaching business. They were fine, except they weren't. The first request came 2 months after the funeral. Jason called, voice tight. "Dad, we're in a bit of a bind. Vanessa's business had a slow quarter, and we've got some unexpected expenses. Could you help with the mortgage this month?" Just this once. Just this once became every month. Then it became the car payments. Then Tyler's private school tuition. Then the yard service. The meal kit subscriptions. The gym memberships. The storage unit for Vanessa's essential oil inventory. I should have said no. I know that now. But here's what nobody tells you about being a widower in your 60s. You get scared that if you're not useful, you're nothing. If you're not helping, you're just taking up space. So when my son needed something, I gave it. Because what else did I have to do with my Boeing pension and my 401k and the money from selling the big house I didn't need anymore? I moved into a smaller place, a nice enough 2-bedroom in Renton, close to my workshop space. I didn't need much. And every month, I'd log into my bank and set up another automatic payment, just helping out, just being a good dad. By the time I saw Vanessa's video, I was covering 67 recurring payments for them. I know the exact number because I'd started a spreadsheet, not because I was keeping score, but because I'd lost track, and my accountant asked me to itemize everything for tax purposes. 67 automatic payments, every month. 1,500 here, 800 there, 300 for this, 90 for that. It added up to more than Jason's actual salary, and there was Vanessa, in a video with 43,000 views, calling me toxic. I sat in my garage that night, staring at the spreadsheet. The Tesla payment, $847. I'd co-signed because their credit wasn't quite good enough. The Peloton financing, $58. The private school tuition, $2,100. Tyler's robotics club fees, $150. That one I didn't mind. The kid loved building things, just like I used to. just like I still did. When had it stopped being help and started being expectation? I thought about the last time I'd been invited to their house. It was Tyler's 13th birthday party 8 months ago. Vanessa had pulled me aside in the kitchen. "Bob, just so you know, we're doing a really intentional, curated vibe for Tyler this year. Very minimalist, very zen. So maybe don't bring one of your, homemade things. We're trying to teach him about quality over quantity." The homemade thing she was referring to was the robot I'd been building for 6 months. Tyler and I had planned it together, chosen every component. But I left it in my truck and gave him a gift card instead. He thanked me politely. But I saw how his eyes kept drifting to the window, to my truck. Later, when everyone was eating cake, he slipped out and found me. "Grandpa, did you finish it?" "Finish what, buddy?" "The robot. For the Mars rover simulation." "Did you finish it?" "I had. It was sitting in my passenger seat. I thought your mom wanted you to have other stuff this year." Tyler was quiet for a moment. Then he said something I should have paid more attention to. "Mom wants a lot of things. Most of them don't make sense." 3 months later, I was staring at Vanessa calling my values toxic masculinity. On a laptop I bought, in a house I was paying for. Teaching wellness to people, she charged $200 an hour, while I covered her basic living expenses. What would happen if I stopped? Just stopped. All of it. The thought was terrifying. And liberating. And terrifying again. I didn't do anything that night. Or the next day. I went to my workshop, worked on a custom motorcycle part someone had commissioned. Tried not to think about it, but it sat there, in the back of my mind. A question I couldn't unask. What if their comfort ended before mine did? 2 weeks later, Jason called. Excited. "Dad. Hey. Great news. Vanessa just landed a huge speaking gig. She's going to be featured at this wellness conference in Scottsdale. Really big deal for her brand." "That's good," I said. "Congratulations." "Yeah. So, the thing is, the fee is $5,000. But the travel and hotel are out of pocket. And with the conference fees and everything, we're looking at about $8,000 total. But the exposure is insane. This could really blow up her business." I waited. "So we were hoping you could help cover it?" "We'll pay you back when she starts getting the clients from this." "When was the last time you paid me back for anything, Jason?" Silence. Long enough that I checked if the call had dropped. "Dad, that's not fair. We've been going through a rough patch. For 3 years? What's that supposed to mean?" I looked at my spreadsheet. 67 lines, 3 years of data. It means I've been covering more than half your expenses since your mother died. And I just saw your wife call me toxic in a video that had 43,000 views. More silence. Then, "She didn't mean you specifically. She was talking about old school mentality and toxic masculinity while sitting in a house I pay for, Jason." "Who exactly did she mean?" "Look, Dad, Vanessa is building a brand. She has to speak to her audience in ways they understand. It's not personal. She called my values toxic. She called a mindset toxic. There's a difference. Is there? Because I'm the one with the old school mentality who believes in hard work. And she's the one who hasn't paid her own mortgage in 3 years. I heard him take a breath. The one he used to take as a kid when he was trying to control his temper. You know what? This is exactly what Vanessa was talking about. We're trying to build something here. And all you do is make us feel guilty for not doing it your way. I'm not making you feel guilty for anything. I'm just stating facts. No, you're holding money over our heads. You've been doing it for years. I bought you this. I paid for that. It's manipulative, Dad. Something cold settled in my chest. I see. Do you? Because Vanessa and I have been talking, and we think it might be healthier for everyone if we create some boundaries. We need space to build our life without feeling like we're constantly being judged. Boundaries, I repeated. Yeah. Healthy boundaries. We appreciate everything you've done, but we need to stand on our own. Vanessa has been reading a lot about enmeshed family dynamics, and we think maybe we've let you be too involved in our finances. I almost laughed. Almost. Let me be too involved. You know what I mean. I really don't, Jason. Look, we don't need to get into this right now. The point is, can you help with Scottsdale or not? And there it was, the ask, right after the speech about boundaries and standing on their own. Let me think about it, I said. I hung up and opened my banking app. 67 automatic payments. Some to accounts I didn't even recognize anymore. Subscriptions and services and fees for a lifestyle I'd never approved, just funded. I thought about Margaret. What she would say. I could hear her voice clear as day. Bob, you know what you need to do. I spent the weekend going through everything. Every payment, every account, every automatic transfer. I made a list of what was actually for Tyler, what was for Jason and Vanessa's basic needs, and what was pure lifestyle. The lifestyle category was longer. Monday morning, I called my bank. Then I called the leasing company. Then the mortgage company. Then every subscription service, every membership, every automatic payment that wasn't absolutely essential. I'd like to remove myself as a payer on these accounts, I said, over and over. Effective immediately. It took 4 hours. By lunchtime, I'd canceled 49 automatic payments. I kept 18. Tyler's school, the utilities I'd promised to cover, the basics, the things that would keep a roof over my grandson's head and food on the table. Everything else, gone. I didn't call Jason to warn him. He'd asked for boundaries. I was giving him exactly what he wanted. The first call came 3 days later, Wednesday afternoon. I was in my workshop when my phone rang, Jason's name on the screen. I almost didn't answer. But I did. Dad. His voice was tight, controlled. Did you cancel the Tesla payment? I did. Why? You said you wanted to stand on your own, build your life without my involvement. I'm respecting that boundary. That's not what I meant. What did you mean then? I meant, look, we can't afford the Tesla without your help. Then you'll need to make a different choice about the car. Dad, that's not fair. You can't just pull the rug out like this, can't I? It's my money. But we've been counting on it. And there it was. The truth under all the talk about boundaries and standing on their own. They'd been counting on it, expecting it, building a life that required it. Jason, I've been covering 67 different payments for you, every month, for 3 years, and you called it manipulative. So I stopped. 67? He sounded genuinely shocked. That can't be right. I have a spreadsheet. Would you like me to email it to you? Silence. I kept the essential things, I continued. Tyler's school, the utilities, the groceries, but the Tesla, the Peloton, Vanessa's business expenses, the meal kits, the wine club, the landscaping service, those are on you now. We can't cover all that. Then cut what you don't need. You don't understand. We live in a certain neighborhood. There are expectations. Whose expectations? More silence. You make $70,000 a year, Jason. Vanessa's wellness business brings in maybe 20 on a good year. You live in a $6,000 a month lifestyle. The math doesn't work. It never did. I was just filling the gap. So what? You want us to sell the house? Move Tyler to a different school? I want you to live within your means. That's all. The house is your choice. Tyler's school, I'll keep covering. But everything else, you figure it out. He hung up. Vanessa called 20 minutes later. I didn't answer. She left a voicemail. I played it on speaker while I welded. Bob, this is so disappointing. Jason is incredibly hurt. We thought you were better than this. Holding money over people's heads, using it to control them. This is exactly the toxic behavior I've been trying to help people avoid. We're going to have to seriously reconsider our relationship with you if this is how you're going to treat us. I deleted it. The calls kept coming. Texts, too. First from Jason, then Vanessa, then both of them together. The tone shifted from angry to pleading to angry again. Day 5. Dad, please. We just need you to restart the payments until we can figure something out. Day 7. You're really going to do this? To your own son? Day 10. Fine. We'll manage without you, but don't expect to be part of our lives anymore. I didn't respond to any of them. Instead, I called Tyler. His own phone, not the house line. He answered on the second ring. Grandpa? Hey, buddy. How are you? A pause. Things are kind of weird at home right now. I bet. Your parents tell you what's going on? Kind of. Dad said you're mad at them. I'm not mad. I just stopped paying for things that aren't mine to pay for. Like what? Like their car, their gym memberships, things like that. Oh. Another pause. They're pretty upset. I know. Are you still paying for my school? Yes. And I'm not going anywhere, Tyler. You understand that? Yeah. His voice got quieter. Can I tell you something? Anything. I heard Mom and Dad fighting last night. Dad said they might have to sell the house. Mom was crying. She said it's your fault, that you're punishing them. My chest tightened. How do you feel about that? I don't know. I mean, I like our house. But also, they fight about money all the time, even when you were paying for stuff. So I don't think selling the house would really change that. 14 years old, and already wiser than his parents. Tyler, I need you to know something. Whatever happens with your mom and dad, you're going to be okay. You need anything, you call me. Understand? Okay, I mean it. Anything. I know, Grandpa. After we hung up, I sat in the silence of my workshop. The guilt was there. Of course it was. What kind of father cuts off his own son? What kind of grandfather puts a kid in the middle of family drama? But I kept coming back to the same thought. I hadn't created this situation. I just stopped enabling it. 3 weeks later, the Tesla got repossessed. I only knew because Sarah, my neighbor's daughter, sent me another text. Saw them towing your son's car. Everything okay? I didn't respond. 2 days after that, Jason showed up at my workshop. No call, no warning, just walked in like he used to when he was a kid. I was working on the motorcycle part, almost finished. I looked up, turned off my welder. Hey, he said. Hey, he looked tired. Older. Can we talk? I gestured to the stool across from my workbench. He sat. For a long moment, neither of us said anything. Finally, he spoke. The Tesla's gone. I heard. We're probably going to have to sell the house too. Can't afford the mortgage without your help. I nodded. Vanessa is furious. At you. At me. At everything. I imagine so. She says you're trying to destroy us. Is that what you think? He looked at me. Really looked at me. Maybe for the first time in years. I think I don't know what to think anymore. Fair enough. Mom would hate this. You know that, right? She'd hate us fighting. Your mother, I said carefully, spent the last year of her life trying to get you to stand on your own feet. She just did it more gently than I am. Jason flinched. She never said that. She said it to me. A lot. She worried about you. About what would happen after she was gone. So this is what? Tough love? This is me respecting your request for boundaries and stopping enabling a lifestyle you can't afford. We could afford it with your help. That's not the same thing. He stood up, walked to the window. Outside, the rain was starting. Classic, Seattle October. Tyler wants to move in with you. I set down my tools. What? He asked us last night. Said he'd rather live with you and go to public school than stay with us if we're going to fight about money all the time. His words. My heart was racing. What did you say? Vanessa lost it. Said he's being manipulated by you, that you're turning him against us. I've talked to him 3 times in the last month. All I've done is tell him he can call me if he needs anything. I know. Jason turned back to me. I told her that. But she's not exactly thinking clearly right now. And you? What do you think? He sighed, sat back down. I think maybe Tyler has a point. We do fight about money all the time. We've been doing it for years. Even when you were covering everything, we fought about whether we should ask you for more, whether we were asking too much, whether we were taking advantage. Were you? Yeah, he said it quietly. Yeah, we were. I knew it. Deep down, I knew it. But it was easier to just let it happen. Let you pay. Tell ourselves we'd pay you back someday, that this was temporary. 3 years isn't temporary. No, it's not. He rubbed his face. Vanessa's going to leave me, I think. I didn't know what to say to that. She married me thinking I was going somewhere. Sales manager, then general manager, then owner of my own dealership. That was the plan. But I'm 38, and I'm still just a sales guy. And without your money propping everything up, she's seeing what that actually means. What about you? What do you see? I see that I built a life I can't afford, that I raised a kid in a house I couldn't pay for, driving cars I couldn't afford, sending him to schools I couldn't cover. And the only reason any of it worked is because my dad was quietly paying for it all. He looked at me. I'm sorry for what Vanessa said in that video, for calling you manipulative, for all of it. You weren't manipulating us. We were using you. It was the first time he'd sounded like my son in 3 years. So what now? I asked. Now I figure out how to live on what I actually make. We're selling the house. Already have an offer. We'll rent something smaller. Vanessa will have to decide if she wants to stick around for that. And Tyler? Jason was quiet for a long moment. He's happier with you. You know that, right? When he talks about building robots, helping you in the workshop, learning how things work, that's when he lights up. Not when he's at home with us. He loves you, Jason. Yeah. But he likes you more. He stood up. If he asks again, I'm going to say yes. Let him live with you, at least for a while. He can finish the school year, see how it goes. If that's okay with you. Of course it's okay with me. He nodded, headed for the door. Stopped. Dad? Yeah? Did you really have 67 automatic payments set up for us? I did. Jesus. He shook his head. We really did a number on you. You did a number on yourself. He left. I went back to my work. Tyler moved in 3 weeks later. Vanessa had filed for divorce. Jason had signed a lease on a 2-bedroom apartment in Renton, close to the dealership. Smaller, simpler, affordable. Tyler brought 2 suitcases and a box of robotics parts. I'd already cleared out the 2nd bedroom for him, set up a desk, a good lamp, shelves for his projects. That first night, we ordered pizza and sat in the garage while I showed him the workshop. Really showed him, not just the quick tours I'd given before. Grandpa, he said, looking at all my tools, my projects, the motorcycle part I'd just finished. This is so cool. You think so? Are you kidding? This is like the best workshop ever. Can I help? With your projects? That's the plan. He grinned, then got serious. I'm sorry. About my parents. About everything. You don't have anything to apologize for. Yeah, but it's still messed up. Dad's living in some tiny apartment. Mom's back with her parents in California. And I'm here. It's like the whole family just fell apart. Sometimes things need to fall apart before they can be put back together the right way. Do you think Dad will be okay? I do. It'll take time. But yeah, he's figuring out how to stand on his own. That's good. And what about you? What about me? Are you okay? I know you spent a lot of money on them. I looked at this kid. 14 years old. Worried about me. Tyler, let me tell you something. That money? It was just money. I'd rather have you here, working on projects, learning how to build things, than have any amount of money in the bank. You understand? He nodded. Besides, I added, now I can spend it on important things, like getting you into that robotics summer program at UW you mentioned. His eyes went wide. Seriously? Seriously. But you're going to have to earn it. I'm putting you to work around here. That's the deal. Deal. We shook on it. That was 9 months ago. Tyler's still here. Jason visits every other weekend. He's dating someone new. Someone who works as a teacher and splits the check at dinner. Vanessa's wellness business went under. Last I heard, she's selling real estate in San Diego. I haven't changed my will yet. Haven't needed to. Jason knows what he's getting. And it's enough. Tyler knows he's always got a place here. That's all that matters. Last week, Tyler and I finished building the Mars rover robot we'd started planning for his 13th birthday. It won first place at the regional competition. When they called his name, he ran back to where I was sitting in the stands and hugged me. "We did it, Grandpa. You did it, buddy." I just helped. Later, driving home, he asked me something I hadn't expected. "Grandpa, do you think what you did was revenge? Cutting off Dad and Mom?" I thought about it. "No. I think it was boundaries. Real ones. What's the difference? Revenge is about punishment. Boundaries are about respect. I wasn't trying to hurt your dad. I was trying to stop hurting myself." He considered this. "That makes sense." "Does it?" "Yeah. Mom used to talk about boundaries all the time. But she never actually had any. She just wanted other people to do what she wanted. That's not boundaries. That's control." "Right. But you actually did it. You said no, even though it was hard. Especially because it was hard." He nodded, went back to his phone. Then, quietly, "I'm glad I'm here with you." "Me too, buddy. Me too." I turned into our street, pulled into the driveway. The house was small, simple, affordable. The garage was full of tools and projects and possibilities. Inside, there was no luxury. No Peloton bike, no meal kits, no lifestyle. Just a kid who wanted to learn and a grandfather who wanted to teach. And for the first time in 3 years, I didn't feel guilty about any of it. Because the truth is simpler than Vanessa's wellness videos or Jason's excuses or any of the complicated justifications they'd built up over the years. You can't love someone by funding their mistakes. You can't help someone by enabling their denial. And you can't be family with people who only see you as a bank account. But you can show up. You can build something together. You can teach and learn and grow. And sometimes, the greatest gift you can give someone is letting them fall so they can learn to stand back up on their own. Tyler and I walked into the house. He headed straight for his room to upload the competition video. I went to the kitchen, started making dinner. My phone buzzed. A text from Jason. "Heard about Tyler's win. Congrats. You're a good grandpa." I smiled, typed back, "You're a good dad. We all just needed to find our footing." 3 dots appeared, disappeared. Then, "Thanks, Dad, for everything, including the hard part." I put the phone down, went back to making dinner. Outside, the Seattle rain fell steady and soft. Inside, the house was warm, and for the first time since Margaret died, I felt like maybe, just maybe, we were all going to be okay.